It's another brand new edition of your favorite current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ego Sagbolao. I must assure you that you are in for re-entertainment, for education, for enlightenment, and of course, our very, very prominent and eminent personalities with me today who would dissect the topic that we have. We are looking at campaigns by political parties and expectations. Nigerians are expectant, looking forward to 2023 general election. What are the expectations of Nigerians? Do we expect the actors to act by playing the script of the old order? Or do we expect something different from the political gladiators, from the key actors in the electioneering process that is expected to culminate into the general election in 2023? Let me introduce Mr. Omoigbe Ainwafo. You are welcome. Okay, you've been on this program before. Yeah. And of course, the woman that represents the women folk, a legal practitioner, Dr. Eboigbe Eduo. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, we have a political analyst, Felix Osigwe. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
Like I said, INEC, the umpire, has lifted the ban on campaigns. As we speak, there is a wonderful event today. Wonderful in the sense that it's important to the elections. And that is the signing of the peace pact by the political parties, by their candidates expected to compete in the elections. And that event scheduled in Abuja, from the information I have in Benin City, I understand that that has been done, but we'll keep you updated with that. Signing of the peace accord is part of events of the electionary process. It's just to ensure peace during the elections. Now, some political parties have started, but we'll try to concentrate on the frontline political parties, or the major political parties, or the parties that are very visible. We're talking about the PDP. We're talking about the APC, the ruling party. We're talking about the Labour Party. We're talking about some other parties anyway, but these are some of the very visible parties. We'll talk about the other parties because there are so many. There's so many. Okay, so we'll start with a political analyst with us, Omoigbe Ainwafo. PDP has started its campaigns. Yeah. The Labour Party, they've been doing theirs in a disguised fashion. The 1 million man march for Peter Obi and all of that. We understand that there's even a planned 1 million man march somewhere in Lagos, but the court has said no, don't go to the toll gate, the Lekki toll gate. You know, we've heard conflicting stories. The social media platforms seem to be awash with news about that Lekki toll gate planned march, Obi Dati. That's what they call it. But we'll talk about all of that. So what's your reaction to the campaigns? INEC has lifted the ban. What's your take?
First and foremost, I will define the word campaign.
Okay.
Campaign is the coming together of an organized set of people with a set plan to achieve their goals. Having said that, actually, we are in this era of campaign again.
Yes.
Political campaigns. Political campaigns are time set aside by INEC for candidates or political parties to showcase their candidates, and it's also a period whereby candidates tends to woo the electorate, try to win them to their side, to talk about what they can do for them. It's a period where the electorate and the candidates, as the case may be, interface with one another. Although it's unfortunate that in this part of the world, most times we don't really get what is being promised during the time of campaign. However, the time has come. In Nigeria, we have, according to the electoral law, we have like, I think about 150 days before the general election. In a place like India, it's just like 2 weeks for campaign period. But here we have a lot of time. Maybe because our campaigns are so much of uncertainty. But however, we expect to see issue-based campaign. We expect to see these different candidates come out with some kind of plans and how they tend to actualize those plans. It's one thing to have plans, it's another thing to actualize it too. So this period is really a time we'll be waiting for, so that we begin to interface with the different candidates.
Thank you. Thank you for your opening remarks. And I seem to pick that word. This is the time we have been waiting for. I told you that Nigerians have been expectant. I can use another word. Nigerians have been salivating, you know, waiting for a period like this, the campaigns ahead of the 2023 election. Dr. Dugolo, you have been very uncomfortable whenever you are here about the situation in Nigeria. So what kind of campaigns are you looking forward to this time around?
Well, I want to say that it's okay to make a mistake, but it becomes a problem when you repeat the mistake over and over again. We have witnessed so many elections. We have heard so many bogus promises, 200 million jobs, fuel reducing to 50 naira per barrel, comprehensive security system, good health care, good education, and we hear so many things, building skyscrapers in the wall and all that, on the air and all that, and this is where we are today, suffering endemic hardship, poverty, insecurity. Nigerians are frustrated and angry. You hear people committing suicide, you see people fighting for flimsy reasons. People are virtually on the edge. Leaders have come over and over again, they promise us heaven and earth, and they don't care a hoot at the end of the day what happens to us. I think by now Nigerians should be wiser. I feel we are now forced, because of the present hardship we are all going through, Nigerians are now forced to become wiser. It will be very, very painful if any Nigerian goes to vote on the basis of bogus promises. And if you go to advanced jurisdictions, when they are campaigning, they come out with their manifesto, they come out with the blueprint. This is what I want to do, this is how I intend to achieve this. But it's only when you come to underdeveloped countries, you see people making promises that are clearly not sustainable. Nigerians should try, by all means, to now become rational. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away by flimsy promises. Don't get carried away by them giving you 10,000, 5,000, giving you rice and all that, that will feed you for a week, and then you will suffer for the next 4 years. You will reap the fruit of collecting money. You should get it right now, because as we speak, Nigerians are on the edge. Everything is going down. The educational system for over 7 months, tertiary institutions of government have been closed down because of strike. Students that are the foundation of any society, they are at home now. And you know what they say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. People are graduating every day, no form of employment, extreme insecurity, heavy taxations. Nigerians are dying slowly, aging faster than they ought to do. So promises, everybody has the right to make any promise. Unfortunately, we have no system in place to ensure that what you promise during campaign, you make sure you perform it. We have no system. We have heard so many promises. So by now, Nigerians should now read in between the lines. When politicians make bogus promises, promise you heaven, promise you earth, think of the next 4 years. If you don't think about it for yourself, think about it for your children, your grandchildren, the debt burden generations to come will face because of your mistake. So no matter the promises, read in between the line. Who has something to offer? Consistently, we have voted based on sentiments. Oh, this is my tribe. Oh, this is my party. Now, we should remove the veil of partisan politics. Look at the individual. What can you give us? Even if perhaps you don't even believe that your vote will count, do the right thing. Satisfy your conscience that as a Nigerian, you did what was needful to save your country. You can see people now becoming so active. Because this is, your vote is your only legitimate power as a Nigerian citizen. Your vote is your only legitimate protest against arbitrary government. So if you fail to utilize it well for the next 4 years, you will do well to hold your peace.
You will do well to hold your peace if you get it wrong this time. That's what Dr. Eduogo has posited on the program today. We have a man that's also he knows the nitty-gritty of the political terrain in this country. Felix Osigwe, what's your take on this new development? Campaigns are on now. Yes.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
Let me first of all congratulate the various party candidates of the various parties.
Okay.
Yes, it is time for campaigns, like it has the official day of the yesterday.
Yes.
And what I expect from Nigeria is that we should be looking at the content.
Okay.
We should look at what they are bringing on the table. Because like talk is always cheap. We need to look at the character of the leaders that are proposing themselves to become the president of Nigeria. Because we have to go and look deeply into their antecedent, what they have done, what they will be, what they plan to do, and how we can interrogate their performance.
Okay.
Like, luckily enough, we have a man like the PDP man has served for 8 years as the vice president of this country. We knew what he was able to do.
Okay.
We know what we can still project what he can do. We know Obi, Kwankwaso, and the Jagaban, the Tinubu.
Yes.
They have equally served for 8 years as governors. We should be able to look at their antecedents, what they have done in their various states as state governors, and focus what they can do in the nearest future as president of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's the opening remark of Felix Osigwe. He talked about what I seem to admire, and he said content. I think another word for that, we could say quality. Yeah, so he's saying that we must look at the quality of the candidates of the different political parties. Nigerians must make the right choice. But I'll get the thoughts of I1 for now. Nigerians seem to be, there's a school of thought that believes that Nigerians are not patient people. We seem to be satisfied with what we get just for today. Nigerians don't take time, like Osigwe has said. Let's look at the antecedents. Let's look at performance. Let's look at these persons. Which position did they hold before now? What did they do? What did they not do? Are Nigerians patient people? Some people believe Nigerians are not patient people. We don't have time for all of that. But you think we should have a change of mind?
I partially agree with you.
Okay.
Actually, the issue of patience has nothing to do with Nigerians alone.
Okay.
It's a human characteristics. First of all, on the issue of the expected bigwigs politicians, I mean the ones in the major political parties.
Yeah.
On the issue, if we have to maybe look at the antecedents and all of that, I think that is not at this point very necessary. One is not, personally, I'm not in any way sure, or I mean, I'm not different from my former self by way of these new ones that are coming. No new person that are on board now they've all served, according to my friend, they've all served in their different capacity. Tinubu has been 8 years governor in Lagos State. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar has been our vice president for 8 years. Peter Obi has served in Anambra State. So they have, Kwankwaso himself has equally served. And the issue of antecedents, as far as I'm concerned, is not my concern. My main concern is that the performance of these political office holders, as far as I'm concerned, is not really going to be based on their personality or their capacity. I actually think about the formation of our governmental system. The constitution of this country is a problem, because whereby you have powers being vested on the presidency alone. The president of this country can appoint IG, can appoint chief of custom, can appoint whoever in any of the security agencies. You discover that there's now a monopoly of interest, kind of. The whole stuff will be one-sided. In a situation whereby our political system is so lucrative, you cannot expect an otherwise. It is not a miracle that when Mr. A comes in, because he has done well as governor in this state, or he has done well as a senator, he will do better as president of this country. Whoever sits in Aso Rock, as far as I'm concerned, is not the problem of this country, because it is the formation of the government. I mean, what governs them, what controls them while in Aso Rock. Like I always say, I say, with apology to our clergymen that might be listening, I say, bring Jesus Christ to be president of this country. He will fail.
It's as bad as that?
It's as bad as that.
You mean Nigeria is in a very precarious situation?
Catastrophic. We are heading to doom. I spent a lot of my early age in outside this country. I've seen elections where, even during presidential elections or local government or governorship elections, people goes to work. Here during presidential election, you see from Igosa to main gate, more than 10, 20 mobile police checkpoints driving people home. I can recall an incident while abroad. I went to one store to buy padlock for my small canteen. While paying for the padlock, a man drove a bicycle into the shop. He now asked me, as a black man, do you have the capacity, do you people vote? I said, yes, but is there any election? He said, yes, tomorrow is their local government election. He now gave me a kind of flyer.
Yes.
His picture was there. He drove himself, I mean, not with a car this time, kind of a bicycle, not kind, a bicycle. Gave me the tract, kind of
flyer.
A flyer,
Yes.
that tomorrow is
Local government
election. I said, okay, no problem. Maybe I will vote for you, but I didn't. The next day I saw this man on TV. He has won the election. Everything went well, and there were no issue of no work today, public holiday here and there and all that. People voted calmly in their different offices, went to their local government headquarters to vote. Who cannot go, who cannot attend, goes online to vote. In a situation whereby our political office holders, what they get there when they get to office, I mean, how lucrative the office is, there's no way we can get credible people. There's no way we can get credible people here. So the issue of whether whoever is coming on board now is from Labour Party, is from PDP, and is from APC, it is, we had this kind of thought in 2015 when they were talking about change. Then we saw PDP government as a failed government, although I didn't vote for APC anyway. like what I always say, after now, I think the election comes up in February. After now, 4 years after now, we will not be entering another one. We'll still be where we are today. Until the lucrative environment in these offices are broken down, we can't get it right in this country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mogbe Awanfo. That's a good one. Okay, let's get comments from Dr. Edogogo. Now, campaigns have started. You've given us your opening remarks. You've told us the way Nigerians should go about it. We know that we have very many candidates aspiring to be Mr. President. But Mr. Awanfo said that Nigeria seems to be a peculiar case. Though I don't agree with him, I believe that if we get the right man, the right manager, another word is the right manager, it can turn things around. So don't you think that if Nigerians get it right, the country will certainly move forward?
Well, first of all, the foundation, the Nigerian democratic process and structure is seriously compromised. It's compromised to the extent that it makes it difficult, it impairs the possibility of actually getting credible elections. We are practicing democracy campaigns based heavily on money, funds, not on capacity now, not on the capacity of the individual, not on what the individual is bringing to the play, but based on the funds, the financial capacity of individuals. If you can imagine getting tickets for some parties, you pay as much as 100 million. In a civilized society where you work genuinely to earn your salary, can you afford to cough out 100 million to buy just a ticket to show your aspirations to become a president? It's not done anywhere. And then you look at the system, they say, okay, 65 is the age of retirement, and then you see people that are way older than that age coming forward and saying they want to rule a country. At that age, if you have defined by your constitution that when you get to 65, you should retire for younger ones to take over. It is at that age, because you have the financial means, you now decide you want to rule a nation of over 200 million people. And so the democratic system is such that it impairs the ability for this country to actually have credible elections, because we do elections based on money. You saw the party primaries, you saw they were actually using dollars. This is a country whereby lecturers have been on strike for the past 7 months. This is a country whereby people are actually facing hunger, starvation, deprivation, escalating rates of inflation. So I want to say that Nigerians, you know, there is a popular saying, they say, God grant me the grace to accept the things I cannot change, to change the ones I can change, and to know the difference. We are in a situation whereby we can no longer change the democratic process of money politics. But we still have the capacity to decide to say, this is my vote, I'm going to use it wisely. Let them give me 10,000 naira, let them give me a bag of rice, I will collect it, but I will vote based on my conscience. Because the truth is that Nigerians are suffering. Every day we are experiencing mass exodus of Nigerians out of this country. Brain drain at every level, doctors are leaving, bankers are leaving, every young person is trying to escape because the situation is critical. Extreme insecurity, when you are outside by 7, you are there at your own risk. You are trying to survive with a business. Taxation is practically crippling your business. And we have had promises from every government, promises to curb insecurity, promises to curb inflation, promises to bring government closer to the people. With all the promises from the same set of individuals, this is where we are today, and now we have elections in 2023. I want to say that our PVC, no matter the campaign, no matter the promise, make sure at the end of the day you vote your conscience, because whatever we do, we are going to live with the consequences. We voted before, now we are all suffering. Nigerians are frustrated. When you go out, you see frustration written on people's faces. So the truth is that, and unfortunately, if we want to get it right, there are so many things we have not done. Why should you pay 100 million to get a application ticket to become a candidate? Why should you spend so much money on politics? You see the amount of money invested in campaign. they see it's almost like a business. By the time you invest $1 billion to become a president, what do they expect you to do? And the truth is that we are at a situation whereby it will take the grace of God for Nigerians to get it right. But if we can get it right with this election, we may not actually get to the point where we want to get to, but we must halt this retrogression because we are moving so fast. We must halt the retrogression. We must now let them know that Nigerians are thinking. Nigerians are reasoning. You can see on social media platforms, Nigerians are active. You saw what happened in 2021 during the EndSARS. These are elements to show that Nigerians are frustrated and it's no longer business as usual. So I will say that whatever money any politician has, let him spend it. But make sure on the election day, you vote your conscience, you do your best to make sure that your vote counts, no matter the promises. Because at the end of the day, it's only in Nigeria they say, oh, elephant can fly. They'll tell you snake ate 36 million. You hear stories that are often unreasonable to a normal thinking person. And life continues like that. It's only in this country people die and the lives of human beings have been reduced to mere statistics. People die, it's like it's very normal. In other countries, when you see a president, when Barack Obama was president, he became old, his hair was gray. It's only in Nigeria you see our leaders traveling, spending so much of taxpayers' money, traveling and having different medical trips here and there. Meanwhile, the masses. And the truth is that the UN declaration says clearly, say all human beings are equal. It was actually meant to be all human beings are equal, but now a country whereby scarce resources are utilized basically for the upper class, the only right, the only power the middle class and the lower class has is their votes. And if they fail to use it well for any reason, they will live with the consequences.
Okay, thank you. We'll just take a brief break now, and when we come back, Felix Osigwe will be making his comments on the way forward, but that will be after this break. Okay, nice to have you back after the break. It's always a delight that you're spending part of your 60 minutes with us on the program. We're actually looking at the campaigns. Political parties have commenced their campaigns ahead of the 2023 general elections. And of course, Nigerians are also talking about the kind of campaigns that they expect and the kind of leaders that they will vote for. Felix Osigwe is a political analyst. What kind of campaigns do we expect? Is it the way it used to be? Or should it be issue-based? What kind of campaign?
Yeah, thank you very much. Before I go into that, I want to take on my friend here.
Okay.
Democracy itself is not an end. It's a means to an end.
Okay.
Because if democracy was an end itself, the United States and the Great Britain would have been there. So you can never give up hope of Nigeria becoming one of the best democracies in the world in the nearest future.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, I'm on the opinion that this campaign should be strictly of issue based.
Okay.
I don't belong to the school of thought that believe that religious ethnicity. No, let us review the contestants, the candidates of the various parties. Although we have like 15 political parties that have presidential candidates, but the only ones we hear is the 4 big parties.
4 major ones.
The 4 major
We must be fair to the former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso, the new Nigeria People's Party. I hope I got that right.
Yeah,
so he's their candidate, Kwankwaso. Please continue.
So in basing our assessment or judgment on the 4 major parties, like I said before, we know the democratic tendency in each one of them from their past experience as past governors of their various states. So we should be able to look at the content, the quality, what they are bringing on board. But I know that this time around, there's much better awareness than where we are coming from.
You're correct.
You can see the youths are more involved than ever before.
Yes.
The market women, the traders, everybody is getting involved in the democratic experience as we are all observing. So I want to believe that there's going to be a paradigm shift from what It's not about money. Politics is money all over the world. Trump was already a billionaire when he ran it. American today, the democracy we are copying as a country, spend a lot of money in their political. It might not be as a way of tips and whatever.
Yes.
In their campaigns,
Okay.
billboards, movement, organizing, to the extent that Obama, you just said, was people were donating to fund Obama's campaign, which has never happened. I think it got the highest level of money in the history of America from individuals. So what I'm saying is politics itself is about money, but we must know that you cannot sell your own franchise. Like I have never sold my votes right from when I started voting. Okay. I might be the only person, and whatever way you want to look at it,
yes.
vote, I didn't know. Let
yes.
me vote my conscience.
Yes.
I've always been voting my conscience in all the elections. So coming to where we are today, I think we should be able to look at the different candidates of this party. They are all coming out, like the devolution of power you're talking about. Same story Atiku is saying. The Obi man is saying he wants to devolve power to the state police. He even went to Ondo State to talk to Akeredolu to appreciate him for saying that they must approve firearm for the
sophisticated firearms
for the Omoteco people. So like we are saying, they have we are seeing that, but who can we really trust with this mandate? Because like I said, talk is cheap. They might come to promise us this. What is your antecedent? Where are you coming from? What were you able to do when you have this executive power? So I think by so doing, we'll be able to now narrow down on who the cards may fit in 2000.
But before I let you go, Felix Osigwe, now you're talking about antecedent. Now, if a man was once governor or a senator, and he was criticized, oh, as governor, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and he was able to discover that he actually made mistakes and is vying again to get past so I can correct such mistakes. Don't you think that can happen? People can change.
Yeah. But we are not. There's no time for experimentation anymore. Okay. I think, I will see my brother was almost giving up on the democratic experience of Nigeria because of where we are coming from. I think the Nigerian people are eagerly waiting to have a president that is the people's president. Yes. Not a president based on hypothesis or whatever. Practically, let us see. Let us see what you have done. Like you said, they are not new. They are not new to the game. We have the Kwankwaso, the NNPP man, the Atiku. Though Atiku, to me, I would believe that Atiku never had an executive power. Because in the history of Nigeria, it was only Buhari that have been able to transmit executive power. That I'm going on vacation, let my vice president. It might be on party arrangement, but vice I just say, okay, you can run things since we are friends. But was it documented? Is it legal? Was it constitutional? Yes. There wasn't anything constitutional apart from the same Buhari that have done that to Sibanjo. But we can see, okay, let me use Tinubu as an example now. This is a man that was a governor of Lagos State shortly before the federal government decided to seize his allocation. We also was able to maneuver the state, and at the end of the day, nobody cried foul of not being paid. He was able to maneuver himself to come out of that stagnation of not being collecting the filibuster money from Abuja. At the end of the day, he succeeded. Look at the talent hunting. You can see both. This guy has been able to brush people up. Today, they are somewhere in Nigeria, in the politics of Nigeria. So, like somebody will tell you about Atiku when he was a bureau of private. This is what you have done. This like he was a governor in Anambra State. What has been able to do? Okay, he was able to do this, and so we should be able to judge them on their antecedent, and believing that when they come back as either president, they might be able to do far better than what they have done in their state. That is my state. And there's no need for selling of ballot paper or taking money for no, because it still boils down to us. The people will still suffer. We are just like barrack. They are like soldiers. Soldier go, soldier come, barrack remain. So it is the people that suffer the pains. So we should be able to open our eyes. We should be more wiser in voting whoever we want to vote for this time around.
Okay, thank you, Felix Osigwe. I'm back to you again. Now, yes, surely there will be election in 2023. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that the exercise will be credible and that he addressed the United Nations. He made same promise during his Democracy Day speech. He said that was going to be his last Democracy Day speech. I think that's the kind of assurance that Nigerians actually require from a sitting president. Now there will be elections. Yes. How do we get it right? That question is very important. How do we get it right this time around? INEC has promised to. They brought in technology. The Electoral Act has been signed. You know, I think for INEC, they say they are ready. But there are other issues that I think we should dissect on this program. The issue of vote buying. Don't you think it will crop up again? So how do we get it right?
Thank you very much once again. It is very, very clear that the issue of vote buying or vote inducement cannot be ruled out of Nigerian voting period. Actually, my take on that is that there should be a kind of check, a very big check, and penalties should be spelled out, although it is there. But how can they actually implement it is another issue. These big-wig politicians that normally brings out this big money to share on election day, what actually what do we have in place to checkmate those ones? Because I'm not really too particular about that woman at my junction selling akara, collecting 5,000 naira. Who brings the 5,000 naira out should be the point of attention. In an environment where election is being held, security men should be around there watching when this money comes into that arena. And I still feel that Nigerians can still collect money and vote their conscience too. Is if you collect 5,000 naira from any of them, it's your money you have collected, but vote for whoever you feel you want to vote for. So the issue of thuggery too is another issue. We have seen cases where while an election is going on, a particular political party, if they see that their man is losing, they go in there with guns and scatter everything, so that the result from that polling unit, as the case may be, might not count. So these are areas we should all look at. And another aspect is this issue of even during this campaign, you see youth staying on top of vehicles, on the door, kind of risking their lives. Like I always tell some of my young friends, before you go for any rally, before you go for any campaign or a kind of political thuggery, whatever, try as much as possible to ask that candidate, where are you
taking all the pipes? People are stealing, when they steal from Nigeria, from the asset of this nation, they'll say it's a national cake. People will come and say, I want loan for farming. As you give them, they'll say it's a national cake.
They will not farm, that's what you mean?
They will not farm, they will divert the money. Let me tell you this. We are expecting 2023. It will come and it will go. It will be a peaceful year because Nigerians have decided. Now, let me tell you, the three major, what you call it, three force, second force, let me tell you, there is no force in Edo State. We have a leader, a governor. If anybody comes out now and he said he wants to freeze this country, let me tell you this. First and foremost, Nigerians are not exposed to the extent that they will use their money to fight for the cause of this nation. And if that education, that awareness is not there, the people who will give that awareness is the people who have the largest number now, who are faithful but not believers. They go to the church. You have the highest numbers. If you get them and let them know, look, the economy is bad, don't pay tithe again. don't do any offering. Just come, let us pray. The prayers we are praying now, when we are growing, crusade, they don't do offering. But any garden now, even burial now, they do offering. That is where we'll stop the bleeding. Because the bleeding is not from the central bank. The bleeding is from the person in the street.
First, I have to cut in here.
You will cut me.
I have to cut
you
in
will
here.
cut me.
Yes, we'll invite you again. But let's quickly, your closing remark, Dr. Elvis. Quick one.
Let me quickly say this.
Yes.
When I say, I didn't say the government shouldn't be blamed.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is, we should not just put the whole blame on the president, for example, alone.
Yes.
Because I have not heard that all the representatives from the senators, the House of Rep member, they are not getting their monthly money. Okay. Now, all those people we send to represent us, that's why 2023 election should be of, it should not be party level. It should be, voting for an individual that have a capacity. Now, what I'm trying to portray is this. Look at it. Now, outside the government, just like the station now we are talking about, and we thank God for Chief Dr. Osawari Benedion, who God has used to, to come out with this establishment and so many others. Now, you see, he's not working here. People are working here. Now, do you know that the people that are working here is even making things better? Assuming the management here and working against it, there will not be ITV. Yeah. That is the point. Now, we have our own role to play, because it is not just the government, because the governor or the president cannot be everywhere. We agree that, in a large share, the president, the leader have a role to play. We should also ask ourselves a question. All these leaders, House of Rep members, like I said, the senators, all of them, the governor, they are still collecting allocation. You are talking about those states now. What about other governors who are collecting allocation and they are not using it? And everybody said the president. We agree that there is a lacuna.
Thank you very much.
Now, in other words, my conclusion is that we should change and we should do the right thing.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Dr. Elvis. I want to thank Apostle Casey. You were very emotional today.
Don't thank me.
You made your point. And I must thank Fosa.
This should have part two, because if a man is doing the work of a navy, so they should stop paying navy, and all the navy should go home.
Okay,
so that
we'll think of part two. But was thank Fosa Toy. Wonderful comment. He said it is happening in Edo. The model in Edo State government house that is turning Edo State round for the good can be emulated by other states. On that note, I say thanks for being a part, and I also thank my viewer for your time, spending your 60 minutes with us. My name is Ego Sagbolao. Do have a wonderful weekend ahead.